me in a very excitable time of my life where we have holes in the ceiling here, and yeah, the accommodation I'm currently in is not really fit for purpose. But anyway, you're not here to listen to that. You're here to listen to me talk about Don't Look Back. And I'm going to give you my honest thoughts about Don't Look Back, because this isn't a game that's been sent to me. This is a game that I picked up. So, what is Don't Look Back? Well, Don't Look Back is a love story to horror movies of the kind of 90s. It's a nostalgic kind of romp through slasher movies and any kind of horrific movie you can kind of think of, which is essentially, a horror movie of some variety. This came out, I don't know when, a couple of years ago maybe. It's by BSS Terrain, Black Site Studio. These guys make some pretty cool products. Don't Look Back is the only one I've tried. Now, for me, anyone who watches the show knows that I really enjoy kind of 80s horror, 90s horror, horrific games really. Dead by Daylight being a personal favorite of mine. Just theme is everything for me. So I even created my own slasher horror board game. So this is always something I'm looking for. Trying to find, your Friday the 13th encapsulated on board game, or in this case, skirmish, realm. I'm tired, so apologies for my waffle here, guys. But it is Wednesday, so I guess this is a Wednesday waffle, guys. So let's talk about how you get into this if you live in England. If you don't live in England, it's a bit easier. But if you live in England and you want to play Don't Look Back, how do you do this? Well, the easiest way is you go online to BSS, their website, and you can download the rules for $25, I believe it is. If you want the physical copy, it's going to cost you a bit more because you have to buy that for like $50. And the shipping is around $27 or something like that. So it's already, just for the rule set, it's quite expensive. And I'll tell you what I've done so that I could get everything I've got on the table here, and I'll show you what I've got at the moment. But yeah, so if you want to be in at the very base level as an English resident, then all you need to do is you're going to be spending some money on the rule book. If you want to go a bit further than that, you can get these really cool VHS sets which have got the killers in. So this one comes with all these different kind of combinations of killers you can have. So you can actually, hey there, you only get 2 bodies, but a bunch of heads and a bunch of weapons. So you can assemble them. You get a bunch of cards as well. So you can make random characters for your Don't Look Back killers. Like I said, if you're a completionist, you're going to be a bit annoyed because you're like, but I want to have all these different killer heads. And I'll be honest, out of the 2 killers I created, I snapped one of the ears off of the pig I was trying to do, so I couldn't use it. So then I just had to go for something that I thought looked all right. So you can get this. I got this from Spectre Games in the UK. Doing well, thanks. Doing well. You then can get the heroes themselves. So the heroes, this is a really good value for money, this one. So you get 8 resin miniatures in here, and I'll show you what they look like painted up. My Instagram's got a couple on here. You can't really see this, but that's one of the little guys there. Hey, Nick. So that's one of them. There's a little ranger character. They're resin. They're really hard to put together. This is a guy who is used to creating plastic miniatures. Resin, I've dabbled with a bit. Shattered Brimstone. I'm not a fan of it. I believe they're more detailed if they've got resin. I don't know, but it's very hard to put them together. It was frustrating. Not the most frustrating thing I built, but it's pretty frustrating. So with the hero set, which is about £30, you're going to be getting a bunch of different kind of heroes, 8 of them all together. All the cards you need for them, a bunch of item cards, a really good. How old are you? Well, you tell me. So for £60 in the UK, you can get these 2 things here. But if you don't want to play it right now, you can go to GameFound and you can back the Don't Look Back GameFound campaign, which, if I'm honest, if you want to play this game, this is the best way to do it. I'm not sponsored by these guys. They're not paying me to tell you this. This is just my honest thoughts about this game. If you want to get in now, there, and you can wait, asterisk there, then get this Don't Look Back on GameFound. Otherwise, you're going to have to go the same route that I've gone down. Now, what I did, like I say, got one of these, got two of these, got the digital rulebook, but then paid for it to be printed off. And I'm a cheapskate, so it's black and white and by a really dodgy company. So I've got the rules there. I've got these heroes and killers there. What else did I buy? Well, okay, so, you know, I'm going to film this on the channel, so I wanted to get some lovely thematic dice. So I got some blood splatter dice, adding into there. I also need some terrain. So let me show you what I've got set up for the terrain at the moment. And I've begged, borrowed, and stolen from various different sets here. So we've got the bolt action starter set, which is doing the terrain for the moment. This isn't actually the right size you need for this game. You need a 3x3, but it'll do. And I'm using the ruler that actually comes with that. I have actually downloaded STL file for the tokens and stuff for this game. And I've got a friend, Jack, who is like printing all this off for me as we speak. The trees are from Warlord Games. They're actually a Hornby old set, and I'll be honest, these need to have some kind of like plastic base on there, because every time you're going around, you're knocking them all over the place. This kind of like terrain over here, if anyone's played Dungeon Saga Origins, you will recognize those. Token-wise, as I say, tokens don't come with this game. You've got to print them off yourself. I have borrowed from Metal Gear Solid. So I've got 2 tokens from there. We have the bolt action starter set as well, given us this little kind of ruined building. And we also have this really lovely house from TT Combat. It was pretty easy to build as well. I made some mistakes, and we've got terrain from Dungeon Saga Origins in there as well. But yeah, I thought, you know what, it's not perfect, but it looks cool. It's the right scale. And yeah, that's good. You also need some other tokens if you haven't printed stuff out. So I've stolen stuff from Shards of Brimstone. These are the character cards you get, which are pretty cool. They're not double-sided, which is a shame. I would have liked to see like something on the other side maybe. But yeah, the art's really cool in this. The book itself, the rulebook is great, but obviously I've got the black and white version, so you're not really going to appreciate this from here, but it's got some lovely artwork in there, loads of tables to roll off. There is a Discord group you can join, which will get you access to things like this, which gives you all of the references for your characters. I'll talk you through what happens on a round. So to start with, you've got these things called fright tokens on the board. Now these things are bastards. These represent all the things that go bump in the night, shadows, and they can also generate the killer. So the killer doesn't start on the board, but he will appear at some point. So you start off with these things and you roll to activate them. Depending on what turn you're on, you're rolling a d10 and you want to get a certain value to activate them or not. If you activate, you're rolling another chart, which will move them or it will spawn the killer. Let's see, where's that fright reference? Yeah, so you check for terror at the very beginning. Every character has a certain amount of terror they can have before they die of shock, and then the killer takes them. Then you build the tension by rolling on this little chart here, and depending on turn, you're rolling a d10 and hoping to get below that number. If you don't activate a fright token, you're going to be adding an additional fright token into the middle of the board. Once you've done that step there, you're going to be going to generate more fright tokens if there's none on the board, and then backup from supporting characters. So yeah, in this game I just played now and had to stop filming because I realized I made a big mistake, so then I came to a live. I had a little supporting character who came on there to help the guys out, and yeah, she can basically get rid of fright tokens, which is really helpful, because if you start your turn within 4 inches of one of these guys, you get scared. So you add terror to your character, and all characters have a maximum amount of terror they can take before, like I say, they dead. So that's the fright sequence. Once you've done that, you go on to the killer sequence, and there's a little chart you go through to see what the killer does depending when it's on the table or off the table. You then move the killer. The killer himself as well, guys, is fantastic. So you have a bunch of these visages, you have a bunch of these MOs. So you either pick a pre-generated one, or you pick out from a deck of cards the MO, which in this case was a direct one. And it tells you whenever he's placed on the board, or she, that's what you're going to do, and that's what the movement rules are. You then get a random visage, so in this case it was mutated, and I've got a bunch of other miniatures. So that's one of the killers who comes with this. And then the other one, who I was going to do a pig head, but unfortunately it broke. I've got this kind of redneck chap. I think they're called Red because, yeah. And then I also borrowed some stuff from Dead by Daylight, the game, because honestly, they're the right kind of scale for this. This guy's the hillbilly from there, and they're the right scale, so it works out perfectly fine for that. In fact, you could do a Dead by Daylight board game or skirmish game using these miniatures and the rule set here. It's fantastic. So depending on what killer you've got, what visage they got, has got a certain amount of wounds. Then what happens when they get driven off? So you can't kill these killers, guys. You kill them and they'll come back because, you know, it's a slasher movie. Special actions. So this particular guy was interesting to work against because depending on which round number you are on, he was either going to be really fast or he was going to be really strong. So it kind of chops and changes, which is really interesting. Then when they attack, they do 2 attacks. If they do a lunge, which is when they appear on the board, they just do attack 1. But if they're next to somebody, they're going to do the attack 1. So hulking blow, this attack targets a random character in contact with the killer. Combat 15, so you're rolling a d20 trying to get under that. If you get a 1, it's a critical hit. Get a 20, it's a critical failure. Damage 3 wounds and 1 point of terror. Wounds are bad, terror is bad, of course. Attack 2, so once they've done that, they then go to this. He basically vomits everywhere. So this attack targets all characters within 2 inches of this killer and does 1 wound and 1 point of terror. These killers are brutal, guys. But you know what? It's not just this and an MO you have to worry about. No, you got a bunch of traits. Traits, I say. So you got a bunch of traits, and these really do kind of, yeah, change the game up and who you're going against. So, for instance, we've got Relentless, which means when they're not on the table, when you're rolling Fright Tokens activation, there's more chance they're going to actually appear on the board, that the killer's going to appear. And then Naturally Fast, he's going to be going up +2 inches, which, you know what, worked out really well for this character, because in Dead by Daylight, he zooms around the map with a chainsaw, screaming at the top of his voice, so it actually worked out pretty well. But trait-wise, there is a bunch of traits that come with this, and if you go for the Game Found campaign, you're going to get traits and then some more traits, because it comes with a kind of starter set, which will look similar to this, not as, it'll be more cardboard. Rather than like 3D trees, you're going to have like cardboard trees on the ground. So it's not as immersive as this setup is. But yeah, like it's, you've got all the bits you need in the Game Found campaign there. So you'll get 4 heroes plus a killer. That's without any stretch goals. So you're going to have 4 characters and a killer. And then if you get the expansion for the, if you go $99, you get the core set, which is a starter set, which has dice and the rules and tokens and things like that. And a really cool measuring device, which is a knife, which looks pretty cool. But if you get the expansion, you'll get another 4 characters, another killer. And, you know, that really does add to the amount of, variety you have in this. Because when you play this, guys, you can do trilogies. So once you finish this particular mission, the surviving characters can go on for the sequel, which is just fantastic. Anyway, the killer's turn. Sorry, there's explosions going on outside in Warsaw tonight. So we've done moving the killer. I didn't think I actually said about moving the killer. The killer moves, and depending on how many kind of like terror points the character has on them, means they're going to move even faster. And then the killer attacks, which I showed you how he does that. And then savoring the moment. So if he does manage to kill somebody, he teleports off the board, and you don't see him for a round. I need to check some rules on that, because I don't know whether if you do a lunge, he's going to appear again. I don't know. But then you finally get to the character's turn. So the character phase looks a little bit like this. So basically, the start of the character phase of the killer is currently on the table, not within line of sight and awareness of either a character or supporting character, and immediately remove the killer from the table and place it using the rules found on its MO. So he teleports, which is not great. Then you take actions, and you do 2 quick actions, or 1 quick and 1 long action. So these are moving, stumbling away, standing up, distracting, kick it in, encourage, concentrate, snapshot attack. Let me take a look. Catch. And then taking breath, search in the area, hide. It's nothing, see. Investigate, what was that? Melee attack and range attacks. Yeah, that's pretty much it, really. There's some attacking modifiers. So yeah, the more scared you are, the more chance that you're not going to be able to hit them. But yeah, so if you want to get this game as is right now, and you're in the UK, it's going to cost you a lot of money because you need. If you just get the rule sets and you've got some terrain handy, great. If you don't have terrain and you're a bit like me and you like immersive kind of like situations and stuff, then it's going to cost you a bit of money because you're going to want to get trees. You want to get a player map. You're going to want to get a 3D house. One of the first, there's 5 scenarios that come with this core rulebook, and one of them is camping, and one of the things is a campsite. So then you might want to try and find some scatter terrain for campsites, which, you know, there is a terrain crate for it, but it's out of stock everywhere. But there is other terrain crates available that you can get, which I might have got. So there's quite a few things for this game out there already that you can get. Superb rule set that perfectly sums up the team slasher genre. Big fan. I'm a fan as well. I played this twice. I'm not quite down with the rule set yet, but I'm really enjoying this. It's really fun. I'm looking for a slasher game, and this is basically it. This does everything I needed to do, really. There's rules for how to create your own characters in this, rules for how to create your own killers, rules for how to generate your own plots. You could customize this as much as you like. And yeah, it's just great. Now, if you're a completionist, it's going to be a very expensive hobby for you unless you have access to a 3D printer. What's pretty nice is if you have a 3D printer, you can, for quite cheap, I guess, I don't know really, you can actually get a lot of these assets online. It does a bit like the game I designed, but obviously a skirmish game without a board. But it is similar to the game I designed, yeah. But I designed mine first. I'll just put it out there. Yeah, so I don't know. If you've got STL files, then yeah, you can just print all this stuff off, and there's some really cool custom content on their website. The terrain they do, mamma mia! If I could afford to for the shipping for it, I'd 100% get them because the terrain comes pre-painted and looks great. The TT combat thing I've got here, I think it looks really good, but it is just plain, and I could probably paint that, but I'm worried about painting over the design there. So I don't know. It's yeah, I think I'll keep this as is because it kind of look with the grey and the brown. It kind of looks like it is slightly decorated. I don't know. But yeah, like this is one of those games where you could just keep buying stuff for this and just getting tons of terrain, loads of different terrain types. And like I say, on their website, some of that terrain is beautiful. You can also get the Winchesters. So if you're a fan of Supernatural, you can get the Winchesters for this, and their car. But yeah, this is definitely scratching an itch for me. I 100% think if you are looking for a horror game, regardless if it's a skirmish game or whatever, then go out and get this. You can play this as just one person going against the AI. You can play this as a couple of people going against the AI. You can have up to 6 characters on the board trying to do a survive the night kind of scenario. So up to 6 people can play this. Actually, up to 8 people can play this because you can have one player being the antagonist, so they're actually controlling the killer. You can have one player as the director, who is basically running the whole thing like a games master. It's all really exciting, and I'm really interested in this game, and I'm looking forward to seeing just get some more exposure with this. I'm going to be back in the Game Found campaign. Like I say, they're not paying me for this. I'm not getting anything for it, but yeah, this is after having just the 8 characters in that come with this hero pack. After reading the lore that's included in this book, I'm all in for this. I think it's such a cool little kind of system. Really interesting design, really interesting lore in there. And as you read the lore for the characters, you're like, this really sounds like a horror film I'd love to watch, or like a TV show that I'd love to see. And it's not just like slasher killers. You can get aliens for this, zombies, cultists, ton of loads of different kind of lore that you can add into this. So there's lots of ability to like expand this out and just customize to your own kind of rule sets on what you want to do. There's rules for pack killers, rules for secondary killers. I believe there's an expansion which actually brings a traitor mechanic into this as well, so you could have like a scream situation going on. Yeah, the only problem I have is I want to get all the different terrain for this. I want to get a high school setting. I want to get a hospital setting. I believe it's compatible with battle systems terrain as well. So that city core set you can pick up. Really tempting to get that as well. Yeah, I can see me spending money on this, getting loads of scattered terrain and different killers and things like that. It's just a shame that the cost to get stuff from America is so high. So I would say if you are looking to get this, 3D printer is on my birthday list, maybe. Or maybe I'll buy one and then see Jack pass some silver over Jack's palm and see how it comes out and if I can assemble it and it works fine. And maybe just rather than get one of those, I just pay him to print everything off for me. But yeah, I think if you are interested in this game and you can wait, the cheapest option here is to just go and get the back the Game Found campaign. But if you can't wait like this guy, there is a way that you can play this in the UK, but it's pricey. And you know what? If you want the PDF for this, if you want the rule set, well, just find me on Instagram. Maybe I'll forward that over to you. But yeah, it kind of annoys me. I couldn't find like a quick start guide or anything like that online. But I believe this is quite a small company there. They're just average Joes trying to get their game to the table. They got some other games out there, like one that's set on the moon, where you're kind of got two factions of warring astronauts, which is a pretty cool setting. Yeah, so I highly recommend this if you're into horror. Yeah, if you can wait, then back this on GameFound. If you can't wait, source it, because you'll really enjoy it. It's fun. And if you come to AirCon this year, I might bring this with me. I'll see how portable it is. But yeah, for your AirCon, you can come join me for a game of this, and you can tell me where I've got the rules wrong. But yeah, I might create a scenario for it. I might just we'll just generate one on the spot and really showcase the game for you guys and how you how it generates plots and killers and stuff like that. But anyway, the Moon game looks just as good to bring this to AirCon. I am going to bring this to AirCon. The Moon game does look really fun. So yeah, and also I imagine it's the same scale, so you could probably have some astronauts facing off some sci-fi horror, which would be cool. If you've got packers, aliens. Yeah, well, that's it for me, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. So my thoughts on Don't Look Back it, because if you like 80s, 90s horror, it's a really good system, and it's full co-op as well. So you're not going to have, people getting annoyed because, your Space Marine's better than my Space Marine. It's just fun. It's fun. I am looking forward to playing this with some actual people to see how it plays with just more than me. And people can remind me of the rule set as well, which is always helpful. And yeah, if you want to see this on the channel, then you don't have to wait long, because I have got a few other bits coming for this. Once I've got the tokens, I'm going to start filming this. I'm going to try and film it in a way that it looks like an actual an actual horror movie as well. So I've been practicing with like camera angles and stuff tonight, just while I'm giving this a go. And maybe for Ultimate Badasses, I might put some of that footage up for you guys. But yeah, so that's it for me, guys. I'm going to jump over to Instagram now and do the same thing that I've just done, but on Instagram. I've been the ever excited Vladimir. Until next time, guys, stay safe or die rolling. As I awkwardly end the stream. Thanks for joining.